Let's talk a little bit about the market for heat pump water heaters and where we think that's heading over the next coming years. There are lots of options for water heaters. Tank, tankless, gas. People have real questions about this and about what's right for their home. And one of the things we're thinking about is how in a home, electrical service really is a given. And so you might ask, well, why pay for that additional fossil fuel infrastructure? And why pay those monthly fees if you can achieve the same purpose via an energy source that's already coming to the home? This chart from the U.S. Energy Information Administration shows trends in retail gas prices since the 1980s. As you can see, after remaining remarkably stable for more than a decade, methane gas, we're not talking about gas at the pump for filling up your car, methane gases started creeping up with the onset of the global COVID pandemic. And then global price shocks caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine made wholesale gas prices triple, and the entire world market started changing dramatically. Prices have come down since that peak. But now, the relatively high cost and that historic volatility of gas and oil prices have motivated many folks to go all electric. That is, if the convenience, safety, cost, and performance of the all-electric equipment isn't reason enough. In a way, electricity price trends are similar to gas. Here, you can see that same spike in 2022 because so much electricity is generated at gas-fired power plants. Going forward, we expect electricity prices to be a little more stable as it transitions to renewable energy sources. That's because solar and wind power have no ongoing fuel cost. They are not vulnerable to changes in global markets. Based on U.S. Census data going back to 2005, electric-only homes continue to gain market share across the entire country. As of 2015, 25% of U.S. homes were all electric. And here in the Southeast, nearly 45% of homes are all electric, which makes heat pump water heaters an excellent choice, as they already are heating their water with electricity. In new homes, it's just cheaper to forego the gas hookup and monthly service fees. For retrofit, most water heaters are installed in space where a heat pump water heater can fit. If a gas water heater is being replaced, it increases the safety of occupants by removing a potential source of carbon monoxide. And here's some recent data from all electric homes, broken out by state. So you can see more detail about how the Southeast leads the country in this trend. Overall, all these trends can be summed up in one word: electrification. As technology improves, energy markets change, and new energy sources become available, the economic and technological arguments for all-electric homes just kind of pile up. And therefore, we're seeing the entire country moving towards all-electric homes. The grid and buildings are increasingly powered by renewables, both on-site and off, with minimal operational costs and no rising fuel costs, plus no greenhouse gas emissions. We've seen how fossil fuel infrastructure will just get more expensive to maintain as users defect for all electric systems. And we've also talked about how electricity prices rising is often due to rising gas prices. But as renewables come online, those prices should stay more stable as there are no ongoing fuel prices. Overall, electricity offers greater price predictability for consumers. And finally, increasing awareness of indoor air quality risks compared to gas appliances is making a lot more people think about shifting to all electric. The two major markets for heat pump water heaters are single-family and multifamily residences, which, according to the Advanced Water Heating Initiative, currently account for more than 118 million water heaters. Of those, heat pump water heaters make up less than 1% of installations or sales, despite having a number of models available. If heat pump water heaters were to reach even 15% of the more than 25 million systems which are going to need replacement in the next 5 years, we could save 15.6 billion kilowatt hours per year. Water heating accounts for a large portion of a home's energy use, 19 to 32% on average, according to the Energy Information Administration. With the efficiency of heat pump water heaters, homeowners would typically see the water heating portion of their bill decrease by 2/3. In addition to saving energy, utilities can use heat pump water heaters as part of demand response programs. Heat pump water heaters provide similar load control options as resistant water heaters, but offer permanent reductions in energy consumption and a more gradual recovery after a peak power reducing event.
While the upfront costs of a heat pump water heater are higher than an electric resistance water heater, the annual operating costs are much lower. Additionally, there are incentives in the form of rebates and tax credits that many homeowners will be able to take advantage of to lower the purchase cost of a heat pump water heater, which we'll talk about later. But let's compare the energy label of two 45-gallon water heaters that you could pick up at a big box store today. The electric resistance one is 0.92 UEF and costs $489 per year to operate, assuming a rate of 14 cents per kilowatt hour. The heat pump water heater has a UEF of 3.88, over 4 times more efficient, and costs $117 per year to operate. Let's talk about preventative replacement, or shall we say preemptive. Sometimes water heaters can appear to be working fine and then fail without warning. Most times, though, there are early signs that your water heater may need help. Some of the more common red flags for possible water heater failures are visible corrosion. Corrosion is a sign that the water heater is breaking down. Whether the corrosion is around the water lines or on the unit itself, it's a sign of deterioration that can lead to weakening the system and contributing to the water heater failing. Water leaking, leaks from any joints, seals, or seams of your hot water heater, is usually an indication that there is a problem, potentially caused by corrosion. Hot water heaters are designed to be a closed system, and any moisture outside of that system is an indication that something's breaking down. Water leaking can get worse, not only be damaging to the water heater itself, but also potentially to the area and the things around it. Rust in the water. Rust in a water is usually a sign that the interior of the water heater is breaking down through corrosion. Lack of available hot water. Aging and poor maintenance can cause sediment to build up inside the tank in a way that reduces the tank's capacity. So chemicals, minerals in our water, they can contribute to that corrosion and breaking down the inside of the tank. The sediment and particulates can then start to build up, and then they reduce the available volume that can hold water in that tank, reducing the available amount of water that can be heated and used in your home. Rumbling noises. Water heaters are designed to operate consistently, quietly, and reliably. If your water heater is making unusual noises, rumblings, or vibrations, it's likely straining to operate correctly. Very often, rumbling can be attributed to a buildup of sediment on the bottom of the tank, which can lead to bigger problems. Any noises should be checked out. Ignoring these issues can lead to sudden failure of the water heater, cold water, and in some cases, tank rupture and water damage to the floors and carpet. The other downside to sudden failure is that you may have to schedule an emergency replacement with a plumber, which can be more expensive, and it typically limits your replacement options to the less efficient models that have those higher operating costs.
I always joke with my clients that when water heaters always fail like the night before Thanksgiving when your in-laws are on their way over.
Of course.
And then you just got to take whatever the plumber has on their truck. So
exactly.
It pays to think ahead.
Whenever possible, folks should plan up front to be ready for replacing their water heater when there are signs of failure showing, which will also allow you the ability to plan for installing a heat pump water heater and not having to go with just whatever the plumber may have in stock at that moment. So there is the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It doesn't apply so much with water heaters. When we do see any of those signs of failures, it's a good time to start calling around, if you haven't already, to get quotes on high efficiency water heaters.
Be prepared.
And there are a variety of incentives to help offset those first costs for the heat pump water heaters. The 25C federal tax credit is available to anyone who pays federal taxes. It offers 30% of the installation cost, so that's both labors and materials, up to a cap of $2,000. The Homes Adhere rebates, which are funded by the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, are being rolled out by each state individually. When those rebates are available, here will be available for folks making up to 150% of the area median income, and then households making up to 80% of the area median income can get a rebate of up to 100% of their installed cost, up to $1,750. Households in that 80 to 150% range can get a rebate of 50% of their installed costs, again up to that $1,750. The specifics around the eligibility, the timeline, the logistics, they're all going to be worked out at the state level and largely are still being determined as the states roll out their programs. The HOMES program doesn't have any income restrictions and doesn't call out specific technologies. Rather, it offers rebates based off the overall savings from energy efficiency improvements in a home. Heat pump water heaters could be a key part of an upgrade package seeking a HOMES rebate, given how much more efficient they are compared to other water heating options.
Right, you showed that data before, at 4 times more efficient. That's good savings.
In Virginia, there's also rebates available from 2 of the utility companies for customers in Dominion service territory who are replacing an electric water heater. It can't be a fossil fuel, it's got to be electric. They can get a rebate of up to $234. And then customers in Appalachian Power's service territory can get a $400 rebate for buying an Energy Star heat pump water heater. And so those rebates can stack on top of the tax credits. And then in Florida, Beaches Energy offers a $500 rebate. With all of these incentives, some consumers will be up to date and request a heat pump water heater knowing the incentives that are available to offset that first cost, but others won't know, and it would really be a disservice to not let them know about the incentives available so that they can upgrade to this technology.